Oh, best movie we've seen. Absolutely. I don't want to say what my super score will be, but it's definitely gonna be the highest super score I have. And then,
Are you good?
yeah, I'm good.
All right.
How did you feel?
I thought it was good. I liked the acting. I thought Chiwetel was like awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought he did a great job. Rachel McAdams was awesome.
She did a very good job.
But I didn't like Mads Mikkelsen that much.
Another dumb Marvel villain.
The villains are they're getting worse.
Well, I always like to say, at least we broke 2 records.
2 curses this week.
2 curses this week. Real Talk Soccer movie and the Cubs won.
They won a World Series.
Yeah. And it feels like it's been 108 years since I've seen a good movie, so it's pretty relevant.
Yeah.
What else? CGI was insane.
Obviously, that was
so hard to keep up with. It's honestly kind of a little jarring at some points.
3D is almost a bit much.
What else? I need to process all this.
This is one that needs time.
Yeah, it's not like where right off the bat I know how I feel about it.
No.
I feel like all Marvel movies.
But I don't
like
think
that,
it hit the hype that I had.
The hype train was so hard for this movie.
I think it needs another movie. I think Doctor Strange 2 might
explain some more things.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's have some time to mull over.
Yeah, dude.
And then we'll see you in 2 days.
Yeah. Let's get out of here.
So 2 days later, we've kind of sat on it a little bit. I feel like I've warmed up. Still didn't live up to the hype for me.
No.
Not at all. Not the best Marvel movie I've ever seen. But I liked it overall. I can't really complain much about it other than specifically just the plot.
Yeah, I've cooled down on it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I've come down a couple notches. Just the more I think about it, the more I feel a lot of stuff was left out. And I think it's actually probably the weakest Marvel movies, maybe other than maybe Thor. Since
the original Thor?
Yeah, since Iron Man has started, since this whole generation of
right.
Marvel movies has started, I really think this is one of the weakest.
Of the MCU specifically?
Yeah.
I would agree with that, but I don't know. I'm so in love with the character and the concept and just the visuals of this movie.
Yeah.
That I feel like I can kind of get over the fact that the story was just kind of bad.
Well, that's because I feel like you almost you can fill in the parts that were missing because you have the background of all of it. I
have the context,
and I don't know all that much.
Yeah,
but it did pretty well in the box office.
85 million.
Yeah,
opening weekend.
It didn't have much competition.
That's true.
So
and this is the only movie we even considered seeing this week.
So it did well, just as you would think a Marvel movie would do, though.
Yeah. So you want to get into some scores?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get this.
Cinematography.
I gave it an 8.
I gave it an 8 as well.
The visual effects were incredible.
Very Inception-esque.
As they were advertised, they were just as good, if not better, than what I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, it got disorienting at some parts, but for the most part, the action sequences everyone in the trailer has seen this, the cityscape, being flipped around and stuff, that was insane. And it was trippy to watch in 3D too. It's disorienting, but it's kind of in a good way.
Yeah.
You can't really keep up with where they are, but I feel like that was the point, is to just
get so disoriented.
Yeah, it's supposed to be reality bending type stuff, and I feel like they did a
That's
good
exactly
job.
what happened.
There was one weird little thing that we both noticed though, when they're falling.
Oh, it was the scaling of the people.
Yeah.
In relation to the entire cityscape, it wasn't correct.
Yeah, and it looked very cartoonish.
Every time the people were involved in the buildings flipping around, I really didn't think it looked that good. Because it was trying to do too much almost.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that the visual effects are incredible.
It's weird that they made a mistake like that on a movie like this, so you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. when it was like, it would have been way easier to fix. I feel like they didn't even watch it a second time. Because if they would have watched it a second time, they would have been like, that doesn't look right.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably fix that. Also, I'm disappointed when they go to Nepal. When he goes to Nepal,
Yeah.
those scenes were very basic. Like very basic tourist walking around, not knowing where to go.
I feel like it would have been better if they had done like more handheld type stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it could have been a very cinematic part of the movie that wasn't all visual effects.
Yeah.
But they kind of missed it. It wasn't bad, but I thought they could have done better.
You know, it's a movie that did a tour scene really well. The Interview.
Oh,
That sequence of
yeah,
him
because
going to
they like
China.
focus more on the city, more on the landscape than they
Right.
do on like the person.
So let's move on to acting. I gave it an 8.
I gave it a 7.
So this was like a pretty star-studded cast. I know it was pretty high pedigree class
Yeah,
for a Marvel
comic
movie.
book movie in general.
Yeah, I mean, Tilda Swinton is very, like, I feel like an artful actor.
Yeah, I'm honestly very surprised she did
They
this.
must have just handed her stacks and stacks of cash money.
Or she just ran out of money making it.
So she was
doing
the ancient
plays.
one that we were talking about, like the bald, androgynous-looking monk. And,
She did an awesome job too.
And then we had Rachel McAdams as like the love interest.
Christine Palmer is who she plays.
Yeah, she just kind of. I thought she did what she did well. I mean, she's a great actor, but the character was just like a scared nurse the entire time.
But what I thought she did personally really well is she didn't overact. And I think when you're a really good actor in kind of like a lower quality movie, you have a tendency to overact your
Right.
part. And I thought she did really well to keep it kind of cheesy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's all the comedy and stuff was just kind of forced. Like, you know what I'm saying? You shredded it last
I've
week.
never watched a movie that had more forced comedy than that.
Yeah, and more like I don't think that they're really getting the gist. I mean, obviously, a lot of people don't like it. This movie could have been so much better had the tone been serious. Even Benedict Cumberbatch, who plays Dr. Stephen Strange, obviously not Mr. Strange, as
Which
he tells
was
us
a
so
dumb
many
joke,
times.
though.
Yeah, that joke was. That
And
horse was
played
dead.
out by the end of it.
Yeah, he was great, but like the fact that he was just trying to be funny the entire movie
Yeah.
was kind of
And I was
disappointing.
disappointed in the directing of him that they made him exactly like Tony Stark.
I agree. Like
And-
it was a Tony Stark clone for sure.
Yeah, he could have been sarcastic and mean without being Tony Stark, but they made him exactly like Tony Stark.
Yeah, I mean that's not really necessarily a chop on his acting though.
No, I think it was the directing and the scripting.
Right,
All that
exactly.
forced comedy they put in there, rather than just letting Benedict Cumberbatch act how he thinks he should.
So then you had Mads Mikkelsen as
Mikkelsen. We've said it so many times.
I'm sorry, that was my bad. He's Caecilius.
Yeah.
And that's basically like the rogue. Are these people wizards or like what are they, sorcerers?
See, this is all a problem. This is all a problem. And the villain, again, Marvel fell flat.
Yeah,
with him for sure.
He's not as serious at like as he should be taken. He's not taken as seriously as he should be.
Not at all.
Like this dude is insanely dangerous, and he's like joking with Stephen Strange, like when they're fighting.
And he never
stuff.
even felt involved. But I guess that's kind of like he was just a puppet and there was someone else pulling the strings, kind of.
Yeah, I mean that could be it, but
But you should
it's
find
like
that
Ultron,
out.
you know?
Yeah,
like,
you
that's a
should find it
perfect
out
example.
like at the end of the movie rather than right in the middle. You're already like, well, I'm not scared of this villain.
Yeah, and then finally, Chiwetel Ejiofor.
I thought he was fantastic for the first half of the movie.
Yeah, and then like
And
it
then
kinda falls
and then the
flat.
directing or the scripting or whatever it was went way off.
But the acting again was good. It's just that it's the stuff that they had to say was bad, but the acting was good, which I feel like has been the opposite problem of most of this. Like we've had really good actors with bad scripts,
Yeah.
and most of the time they don't play it out, and it just turns out to be bad acting. But
Yeah.
with these, it was it was good. I mean, I thought it was really good actually for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, the whole time I was just mad at the directing and how they were told to do it. I never thought any of the actors did a bad job.
Okay, so then we're gonna move on to plot. I gave it a 6.
I also gave it a 6. By far the weakest part of this movie.
Yeah, compared to the plots that we have seen, like Inferno, for example, I mean, it was way better, but, I mean, because it's a Marvel movie, there's going to be some sense of quality with these, but it just was you kind of just didn't know where you were in time, which is a constant complaint of movies for me,
It
and
felt
I hate
rushed. It felt rushed, because, like, he goes to do his training to be a sorcerer, and then he's the Sorcerer Supreme in, like, what feels like 4 days.
That's true. And you don't really know how long he is at the compound the wizard plays.
Kummertosh.
Yeah, Kummertosh. You don't really know just really anything time relate. Like,
No.
I don't necessarily know how you would make them, like how movies do make you like feel a sense of passing time. But this
one
didn't
did
have
it. It was so bad.
Yeah, it could have done a lot better in that regard. But then just like in general, I didn't really like the story, like of
It felt just empty, I wouldn't say there were big plot holes,
yeah.
but nothing was filled completely for sure at all.
I wonder if they did that because I mean, at the end of the movie, it says Doctor Strange will be returning.
Yeah.
So we're getting a sequel.
Obviously.
I mean, that's kind of a spoiler, I guess.
Not
if you thought
really.
that he was going to die or something, but maybe they're saving some of this stuff to explain in either other Marvel movies or in the sequel.
But what since they are doing a sequel, they should have developed his character more,
Right.
and then allowed more story to play out in the next couple movies. Because he just every time he reacted irrationally, I couldn't figure out why he was being so irrational.
It had for an origin story. It has the least backstory
Exactly.
of any Marvel movie.
And we jumped into the
sure.
action after like 5 minutes, and I thought that was wrong.
Yeah, I agree. So the score was 8. Just the actual like soundtrack was really good for a Marvel movie. That's like one of my biggest complaints is that you never have an iconic score that you can remember, like like a Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers that.
I thought this was one. Well, I gave it a 7, and I thought this was worse than like Civil War. It was definitely worse. The score was definitely worse than Civil War's, and I think even the original Avengers movie had a better score than this one.
I don't know. I think this is one of the best scores
Because
for a
I can't
Marvel
remember. I
movie.
can't pull the theme. Like after watching the Avengers, I hummed the theme song for like weeks, and I don't even remember the theme song from this one.
I feel like mine is the opposite.
But it matched the movie well.
Right.
It
had
executed
a
every
magical type like.
But I was really excited for the score, and I kind of left being a little disappointed in that as well.
And I feel like there's one part, the beginning part of the movie. We get some like classic music, kind of in a Guardians-esque way.
Yeah.
And I feel like Marvel's really kind of.
They're forcing it.
They're forcing that, like, they're using it as a crutch for when they should be like developing a good score instead of using classical music that obviously like classic rock that everyone's gonna love. Like they need to develop their own original musical score.
Yeah.
And it also sometimes takes away from the seriousness of the film, which with Guardians was fine, but with this,
I wanted a
disagree.
more serious
I
movie
agree.
for sure.
So my super score was a 7.4.
You skipped entertainment.
Oh, it was a 7.
It was a 7. It was a 70.
Not much to explain
when it comes to entertainment.
It was a Marvel movie, something that maybe should have been released in the summer or something.
Yeah.
But
My hopes started so high at the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
and then as time, by the end of it, I wasn't into it.
I mean,
anymore.
I didn't want to. I enjoyed being in the theater and watching it, and that says something because it was like a Friday at 9:00 when
That's true.
we could all be doing a lot different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not really much to explain. It was just basically entertaining, but not something
Wasn't
that
special. I don't feel the urge to watch it again.
I'll probably get the DVDs.
I mean,
for, like,
I'll
the
probably watch it again.
Yeah, for like the commentary and stuff, but
But sometimes when you see a really great movie, you just want to go back to the movie theater immediately and
and
rewatch
see it
it.
again. Yeah.
But I didn't feel any passion within the movie.
Right.
And I think, and I'm going to go back to the plot because I'm so upset about it, and the character development. I feel as if Doctor Strange didn't grow as a person at all.
Yeah. No, that's a totally legitimate complaint. He's still sarcastic and kind of that Tony Stark-esque playboy
But
billionaire.
at the end of Iron Man 1, you could tell Tony Stark had changed as a person.
Right. He had
Like,
become
he would
a
keep the same, like, sarcastic, like, kind of era about him.
Right.
Aura, I think is what I meant. But I just didn't feel he developed. Like, I feel like he still would treat his Christine Palmer badly.
Like if you had a movie
Yeah, I feel like he
sequel where they
didn't
were just
change.
dating.
And when Iron Man, by the end of Iron Man, he treated Pepper really well.
Yeah,
He, like, really appreciated her. And I just didn't feel that happened. That's it. I'm done with the plot now.
Okay.
We're good.
Super score 7.4.
Super score 7.
Highest movie on Real Talk, I think.
Definitely.
I gave Keeping Up with the Joneses with a 7, and I would say that compared to that, this is a little bit better for me, but
Did you like it that much more, though?
I mean, I really enjoyed Keeping Up with the Joneses, and I really enjoyed this for, what they're worth, but I feel like there are some movies that we're going to see that are just going to blow those out of the water.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
And they're going to get like 9s.
Yeah, my super score was a 7, and I almost want to take it down because I was so hyped for the movie.
You can do that. I did it last week.
No, dude, I'm not going to disobey the laws of mathematics.
Okay.
But I would like to take it down because I was just disappointed in the way it turned out.
Yeah.
I was hyped. I was ready to give this a 7.8, or higher. Mm-hmm. And it fell flat with a 7.
All right. Well, that's Doctor Strange for you.
Go watch it if you want to.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
only if you're really into Marvel.
if
Otherwise, wait till it comes out on DVD.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, don't rush to the theater to see this.
No,
maybe if
save
you
your
have some-
money and wait till this weekend, I think.
For Arrival. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the biggest criticisms I'd say I've heard of Real Talk is that me and Jake just don't like movies. That's really not the case. I've got a whole stack of 10 DVDs here, Blu-rays actually, of movies in the last 10 years that we really enjoyed. So 10 Cloverfield Lane, right? J.J. Abrams, very unique story, kind of the sequel to Cloverfield. We've got Star Trek, J.J. Abrams again, remaking stuff. Very, very cool little science fiction flick. Tron Legacy, one of the best soundtracks in a movie ever. The Martian, Golden Globe for Best Comedy, which I don't really think it deserved, but I guess it's good. Inception, Christopher Nolan. I mean, this is like kind of one of the movies that even non-film literate people will say is just really good. You got The Birdman. This is probably like one of the most surreal films I've seen in like a long, long time. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like a parody of Michael Keaton being Batman, and Michael Keaton's actually in it, which is really cool. We got Gone Girl, don't go see Girl on a Train. Just go see or pick this up on DVD. It's really good. You got Guardians, best Marvel movie.
Hot take.
I apparently that's a hot take. I really don't think that that's like that crazy of an assertion. We've got Civil War. This is what Jake would say is the best Marvel movie. I would say it has the best scene ever in a Marvel movie, but Guardians is better. Still great though. Skyfall, best Bond film. So artful. I can't remember who directed this. I think it was whatever. It's great. We got The Dark Knight. It's a best comic book movie ever, best superhero movie. Heath Ledger, greatest performance probably in the history of film.
That's another hot take.
That's really not a hot take.
That is a hot take.
That is like that was like the most method role he ever had.
Whatever, keep going.
Lego Movie, just a nice little animated feature. I would probably say that this is one of my favorite animated movies. Chris Pratt, Will Arnett, Elizabeth Banks, just great voice cast. Yeah, so I like movies. I'm just not going to tell you guys that I like these bad movies that we've been seeing just so the show can have an upbeat tone. We're actually saving you guys all money by telling you not to go to these movies that are bad. This week in TV and film, Wonder Woman trailer.
Yeah, we just watched it.
So I feel like we're becoming like a comic book show, but because there's so many comic book movies coming out.
But it's what the people want, you know?
It's just
give them what they want.
It's
First
just,
rule of journalism is give the people what they want.
I'm pretty sure the first rule of journalism is like to deliver the truth to the people.
That was an interview. That was an interview quote.
Oh,
James
yeah.
Franco says
Okay.
the first rule of journalism is to give the people what they want.
And that's the first rule of monster truck derbies or something.
And WrestleMania.
Yeah. So basically, the Wonder Woman trailer is Captain America.
It's Captain America. Just
the first
little
Avenger.
World War I instead of World War II.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, so I liked Gal and Batman versus Superman, but I don't know if she can stand alone in an entire movie.
And she's going to use Chris Pine as a crutch.
Yeah, I mean,
he's going to have to pick up that movie if this movie's going to be any good. It looks a lot like Batman versus Superman with all the CGI from the trailer.
Yeah.
And that's really disappointing. Because there are some scenes that I thought you probably could have done that practically.
Right.
You could have gotten a stunt double and thrown a stunt double through a window rather than doing CGI.
Dunkirk. So Dunkirk's being released July 21st, 2017.
Yeah.
So it's a long way out. But if you do want to see it early, you can see it on film, which is how I would probably...
That's how you want to see it. As a movie reviewing show, as people who love movies, it's important for us to tell you that you should see it in film if you have the chance.
Because Christopher Nolan is a huge proponent of using 35 millimeter film.
Yeah, especially for this one that's set in the period that it is set in, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be incredible in film. It'll be good normally just going to the movies to watch it. But if you have the chance to see it in film, definitely see it in film.
Yeah, I agree. And you get to see it like 1 or 2 weeks early, so you might get to like get through the crowds that don't really care about film or seeing it on film.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it's meant to be seen. Like the only reason a lot of, these huge movie theater chains still have these 30 millimeter projector or 35 millimeter projectors is because of Christopher Nolan.
Exactly.
And then like 1 or 2 other directors, but he's obviously the biggest one.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's all we've got for news this week.
Yes.
I'm kind of sick of sitting here. I kind of need to get out, drive around town a bit.
You want to go for a drive? Is the Stang going to make it, though?
Stang's gonna make it. She's trucking, but she's gonna make it.
All right.
We need to talk about what we're gonna see next week.
We need to talk about Arrival.
We
have a lot to talk about before that.
I'm stoked for this movie, and I really think that it's gonna turn out. We keep saying this. This time we're serious. Arrival.
I'm stoked. It's gonna be good.
We said that last week. And
we did say that last week.
It kind of turned out not very good for us.
No, that's true. But this one looks better.
This is the first probably Oscar contender we're gonna see.
Definitely. I'm really excited because the cinematography just looks so much better than every other movie we've seen.
Right.
Like the scene of the UFO in the field and like the clouds like coming over the mountain. Mm-hmm. That looks sick.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely excited for it. So it's based on a short story that was like written in the 90s called Story of Your Life.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of the author, but it's basically about Amy Adams plays a linguist, and an alien language or an alien race comes to Earth in these UFOs, and she's the one in charge of deciphering their language, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's in an entirely different format than any known language. Like, it uses shapes, it doesn't follow a linear time.
Yeah.
Bunch of different stuff, and the way she learns the language has a profound impact on her life, which I can't spoil because
Obviously not. So you've read the short story?
yeah. So I basically know the plot of the film, and if it's anything, the movie, I don't think the movie's exactly going to follow it, but
It'll be interpreted.
It'll be interpreted
Yeah.
and adapted for a screenplay. So it might be a contender for best adapted screenplay, since it's not its own original content. You know what I'm saying? That was one of my friends just drove by. Yeah, I'm super excited for it too. I enjoyed Doctor Strange, but I feel like this is gonna take more.
This is gonna be more of a actual good movie.
That was like a comic book nerd in me liked that. This is my movie nerd.
Yeah,
going to like
full pompous, pretentious.
Right.
I only care about good films.
Yeah,
you call them
exactly.
films.
Yeah, I noticed that with the bad movies we see, I call them movies much more often. And
But if it's a good one, it's a film.
Exactly. I don't think that's actually correct, but
I think it's gonna be really good though. Amy Adams is gonna do great. Visually it looks really cool.
Run through the actors. We got Jeremy Renner, looking like also like maybe a scientist. Forrest Whitaker is some sort of military officer. That's really all the trailer shows in terms of like big A-listers.
Yeah, for sure.
They probably spent most of their budget on that insane CGI. But for the most part,
yeah, cause just and the way they did the alien arm and everything, it looks good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see like the way they go with the aliens and like how they look, because we really didn't see much of anything.
You see a tentacle.
Yeah, exactly. So it's always good doing the Sunday drive.
Oh yeah.
I feel a lot better about it.
It's good to talk things out.
Not in the Mustang. That probably won't be back until season 2, unfortunately.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's an old car. She's a Fimble. She's a Fimble little thing.
She's fragile for sure.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we're in this very environmentally friendly
Who knows? Maybe we'll get in the Danger Ranger.
And we just drove by someone's modeling shoot. So tune in Wednesday at 12.
Wednesday at 12.
Wednesday at noon. Not midnight.
No.
See you there.